Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at a pretty weird slate here on the NBA tonight, Nate, in this Monday night slate. Got a bunch of guys out in those COVID protocols. As we know, one game is postponed. And this one, we're going to go ahead and look at the Rockets visiting the Chicago Bulls, who got a big win against the Lakers last night, thanks to potential MVP candidate DeMar DeRozan. We'll talk about some of that stuff. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page, as we've got a couple other videos up for you today, including that player props video we love to bring you each and every day. Hopefully that one will be as normal as possible, considering we at least know who will be playing for some of these teams. But as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, we're looking at the Bulls, who are -7.5 here. It's fluctuated a bit between 7 and 9 points this morning. The Bulls are on a back-to-back, as you mentioned, but they haven't played in nearly 10 days prior to that, so hard to call it a total rest disadvantage here. The other 5 games tonight, we do have the Sixers +3.5 at Celtics for now. Enough players to suit up on both sides there, although several will be missing, and both Tatum and Embiid are questionable on each side. The Thunder are +9 at the Grizzlies. Hornets +12 at Jazz with a total of 237. Going to visit that one in our player props video. The Kings, with a few guys, including De'Aaron Fox, out in protocol, are +12 at the Warriors, who are without Wiggins and Jordan Poole. And then the other game we break down tonight, Spurs +5 at Clippers, total of 217. Check out our video on that one with picks. In this one, yeah, I think it's starting at the exploitable point that the Bulls are probably not going to be too tired, although they did play a fast game with the Lakers last night. Seems like most of their guys are fine after COVID, this wave being mostly asymptomatic cases, and they came out and they got that win right off the gate. And I know Zach LaVine's still going to be out with COVID, and that they have struggled against good teams without Zach LaVine, but I think the Rockets are not a good team, and I think have lost 18 straight road games against teams with winning records. Is that the correct streak here?
That sounds right.
So,
yeah.
and since their 7-game win streak, they've kind of thrown some water on their own success, benching guys, rest Kevin Porter Jr. with that thigh injury, which is always a mysterious injury. They're now playing a steady rotation of fringe NBA players and resting Eric Gordon at key times. So it's really a 1-game sample size with these Bulls because they've been off for so long. Prior to that, they were one of the best teams in the NBA for sure, and handling business with a 12-6 record against the spread when favored. The Rockets, I'm looking at about a 3-game sample size here, which is since they've shut down Kevin Porter Jr. and had guys in that lineup. Their offense has plummeted to 25th in rating. They're 28th in net rating. They're 23rd in pace over their last 3, which is not how they usually play, and scoring just under 103 points per game. It's about the same with their average on the road, where they just have not been as consistent on offense at all. So I'm actually looking at their team total under 107.5. This is a team that depends on getting to the free throw line. They're not scoring a high percentage off threes, so they're trying to get in deep into the teeth of the defense and draw fouls, get points in the paint. Chicago is doing a great job of limiting both of that. In fact, they're allowing the lowest percentage of points off free throws in their last 3. And I just trust a Billy Donovan system. I trust Lonzo Ball and Caruso hawking these young guards who, guys like Josh Christopher, who have not played much NBA basketball at all and are now asked to go up against 2 of the best on-ball defenders in the league. I think it kind of spells turnover city for Houston and allows Chicago to potentially cover the spread. I would definitely consider teasing it with another game just to get the Bulls down a little bit, since they're in a back-to-back situation. I don't know if they'll have the energy for a blowout win, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it is. And as you mentioned, everything's wonky about this game. You want to try to look at stats about rest advantage or disadvantage. And it's like, what's a rest advantage when a team has played one game in 10 days? And if anything, does DeMar have his full legs back? I don't know. It sure seemed like it last night, scoring 38 against the Lakers. I'm not too worried about that. It's weird in that, Zach LaVine's not playing. We don't have much of a sample size of DeMar playing without him this season, as he went down right after Zach LaVine went down as well in that COVID protocol, or right before Zach went down in that COVID protocol. That's weird. You've got guys on Houston right now like KPJ and Jalen Green still out. Eric Gordon will be in, things like that. But it's just a weird one tonight. And I think the thing you rely on is that the Bulls will be able to come out and still be the team that they are, in my opinion, tonight, and do the things that they do well. And those things are pretty much led by what DeMar does well, to be honest. Scoring a lot of their points off 2-pointers. They score the second most amount of points off 2-point mid-range, behind only Brooklyn, because they have LaMarcus Aldridge and Kevin Durant, whereas you have DeMar pulling most of those mid-ranges for Chicago. In terms of closing this game out, thank God DeMar is there once again. Number one in the league in fourth quarter points. Zach LaVine also in that top 5, but he's not playing. Either way, I think them scoring off of turnovers, like you said, it's Lonzo, Caruso in the backcourt, and causing turnovers, getting points off of turnovers. They're third in the league at that, 6th in fast break points. And Houston gives up the most turnovers a game, 17.5 turnovers a game this season so far. And for a team like Houston to be playing against Chicago with those young guards, with guys on Chicago that are all healthy, I prefer to take Houston's under, to be honest, and sort of zag a little bit on this one in terms of the total, where a lot of people are still considering this game. Houston doesn't play defense. Chicago does love those fast break points, but at home, Chicago's total doesn't hit quite as high. They're actually 6 and 7 against the over there at home so far, which is basically the same on the road as well. So they do play that defense still well enough. It's been a big talking factor for them all season is their defense for real, because we know that their offense is going to continue to play well and get points. And the answer is definitely at least top 15 to top 10, good enough that, when they need to get stops, they can get stops. And I think they do have one more move to make, incidentally, to get one more sort of defensive big man, especially with Patrick Williams out for probably the whole season. I think that they're going to make one more move there, and that'll be what the last thing that they need to shore this up, because they're a bad rebounding team, and that is how they allow teams to get into games. And that is one thing that would scare me about Houston tonight, who does like to get on those offensive boards with guys like Christian Wood. But I still think, like, to your point, before even trying to guess that total tonight, because of the just randomness with different guys playing and not playing, and different rest and no rest, I still just feel like Chicago is a very good team. Houston is not, and Chicago still has enough guns tonight to come out and be able to cover, that 7 points against a team that is I think back to its ways in terms of, starting that decline back to what they were, and not able to win, anywhere near 8 of 10 of games like they had been before their last 3 or so.
Yeah, when it comes to the Bulls, it's just in DeMar we trust, and that's why I would look at maybe if you can get plus odds on the money line with him getting 25 points or so, I would definitely take that. There's nobody on Houston that's going to give him any trouble. Garrison Matthews might have to start on him, which is, a lot of trouble there for the Rockets. And it's just a case of I think Billy Donovan is just too good to let his team lapse in such a winnable situation. Even without LaVine, I think that they have enough depth. They also have some young guys out. The rookie Dosunmu and Alize Johnson still out in protocol. But I still think that I trust in the scheme. I trust in the guys that he is going to bring off the bench. I trust in the Bulls defense. That's why I think I would take the under 107 here. I think there is some looking back at Houston's shootout results during that streak, and during they managed to get 116 against the Pistons, but that doesn't mean anything. Prior to that, 2 complete offensive duds against good defenses, and a Chicago team that gives up 104 at home, a Rockets team that scores 104 on the road. I think we can expect around that average tonight, and for them to not get to 108 points.
Yeah, no, I like that. And, just because of the fact that stat you mentioned, 18 games in a row that Houston has played a team with a winning record. I know we initially thought maybe that wasn't true because but Atlanta doesn't have a winning record when the Rockets came back and beat them in Atlanta. So that was wild. But yeah, that was a different team as well. So I think, if you like the money line there, it's minus 300. But if you go ahead and throw the under, I'm not as scared about the Bulls. If it is slightly a blowout, I think, they can still make sure that under hits. As they play that really great defense at home. So that's what I would bank on as well. But that is all the time we have for this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got that player props video as well up for you today. So until we see you next, happy betting.